Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be ranking Dark Souls 1 areas. So originally this was going to be on the Dark Souls 2 areas, but then I went back and realized I never ranked the areas from Dark Souls 1. I only ever ranked the bosses in Dark Souls 1, so we're going to do the areas for Dark Souls 1 today. Tomorrow we'll probably rank the Dark Souls 2 areas. Anyways, I don't want to be stealing footage from other people on YouTube, so if you kind of see like random gameplay from my videos with like the face cam on, that's just because that's the only footage I have of these places. Anyway, the text is really small, so I have to zoom in really far to see it. First off, Anor Londo. Ooh, this is a great one to start off with. S tier immediately. I said it in the video as soon as I got there, but it was like the perfect dynamic when compared to the other Dark Souls areas. It's a lot brighter, a bit more vibrant, the sun is shining, it's a lot more open-ended. Not even just open-ended, but it's just more open in general. Like when you're running around, there's like a lot more space. It's just, you feel more free here. It's not so like cramped and tight like the first half of the game was. And don't even get me started on ONS. It is easily one of the best boss fights in video game history. I absolutely love Anor Londo, and it is the moment when I realized what Dark Souls is. Next up, we have the Painted World of however you say that. Unfortunately, I did not play this one, so this is gonna more be like the D/didn't play category, I guess. All right, here we go. So we're gonna add the didn't play category, and Painted World is gonna be the first one to go there. There was only 3 areas, I believe, that I didn't go to during my Dark Souls 1 playthrough. It was the Painted World, Ash Lake, and then the Great Hollow. I think some of these may be DLC locations because like Ulysseal Sanctuary and Ulysseal Township, it's not ringing a bell. I may have been there and I'm just blanking for some reason, but I think those might be DLC areas. There we go. So we got the ones that I didn't play all up in here, and the rest of them we should be able to properly rank. Next up, we got Blighttown. I'm not gonna put it in D, but this really is like a B or a C tier. I'm probably gonna put it C. It's just like, I didn't hate this area. In fact, in my video, I only got through it in like, what, 3 or 4 attempts maybe? It really wasn't as bad as everybody says. You just kind of gotta get good. I see that they have Kalag's domain listed separately, so originally I was considering putting it at a B if the Chaos Witch Kalag fight would have been a part of Blighttown, but it isn't. So, yeah, Blighttown is going to stay in C. It's not necessarily, like, the worst area in the game, but it's definitely not good. The Abyss is going to go B for me, just because, I mean, it's literally just a boss fight, but the boss fight in itself is pretty fun, even if it is just a DPS check. Like, I put on Havel's armor and just tanked the entire thing. I still had fun with it anyway. Darkroot Basin is gonna go B. It's an okay area. Fighting the Hydra was, you know, it's gonna stay B only because it has the Grass Crush shield, and that shield is so freaking good, especially if it's your first time through the game. Having that faster stamina regen is vital. Darkroot Garden's another one that's gonna go B. I mean, it has the elite armor, which is pretty good. I actually use that for my entire first playthrough. The butterfly fight is an absolute joke. This was honestly like the first what the fuck type of area, because you get there and you're fighting like these tree bush monsters. It's an okay area. It's not as bad as Blighttown, so it'll stay B. It's pretty mid. Demon Ruins, god, I'm blanking. Isn't this where you fight Ceaseless Discharge? God, that is one fuck of a name. I think this is where you fight the Ceaseless Discharge and that Centipede where you can get like that one ring that alleviates the fire damage. It's gonna go B again for me, honestly. Ceaseless Discharge is so easy to cheese. You do that Lion King strategy on him where you Mufasa his ass down to the fire. The weird Centipede demon. Didn't have any trouble with that either. Just got under him, beat him first try. It's an okay area. Again, not as bad as Blighttown, so it at least gets B. The Depths is gonna go to C tier. Man, I kind of want to put it in D just because I have a massive rat phobia. So every time I saw these rats, I started getting real, like, jittery IRL. I won't put it there, though. Personal biases aside, if you're looking at this from an objective standpoint, I can definitely say that it goes at least B, maybe even A. The Gaping Dragon fight is really cool. It's definitely challenging if you're newer and you don't know what you're doing, but once you know how to cheese it, it's extremely easy. I feel like putting it in A just wouldn't be fair, so we'll put it in B. It's an alright area overall. Again, I absolutely hate the rats, but objectively, the Gaping Dragon, I think it's a good fight. Firelink Shrine is gonna go S tier. I know there's no enemy. I mean, I guess there's technically enemies. I guess the graveyard is a part of Firelink Shrine, but it's just, when you're a Firelink Shrine, man, that feeling is unmatched. When you get there for the first time, you hear the music, it's just quiet, it's calming. The guy sitting there, there are actually 2 bells of awakening. Absolutely love Firelink Shrine, one of the best hub worlds. You know what? I'm gonna say it. It's the best hub world in any video game. Dawn of the First Flame is gonna go A tier. Like, aesthetically, it is so freaking sick. It just sucks that the final boss is kind of a pushover, but I know that that's the point of it. Like, you know, Gwyn is just like a shell of what he once was, of the power he once had. You know what I mean? He's just like when you're killing him, you're like putting him out of his misery. It's at least gonna go A tier because even if there isn't much of this area, like aesthetically, it's so cool. I can't, in good faith, put it in S tier with something like Anor Londo. But it's gonna get A. It's a really good area. I love the aesthetic. Lost Izalith is gonna go D tier! Fuck the Bed of Chaos! The Bed of Chaos is the most bullshit piece of shit fucking boss I have ever seen. I cannot tell you how much I hate that fucking boss. It takes 5 minutes to do the whole goddamn boss run, running the whole fucking length of Lost Izalith. This area is the fucking epitome of bad game design. Like, did you see the way that the dinosaur monsters in the lava lake were lined up? Like, it was so piss poor. It was so amateur. I could have designed a better area myself in my home on a fucking Saturday afternoon. And the whole gimmick of the area being that you need to get a ring just to be able to get through it in one piece, it's like, it's stupid. Fuck Lost Izalith. This is like the worst video game location I've played in a while. Besides Iron Keep and DS. Yeah, Iron Keep is definitely worse, but like this is right up there. Londo Ruins is gonna go B. It's okay. I mean, if you have a transient curse, it's actually pretty cool. I would put it A, but it's definitely not on the same tier as Killing of the First Flame. I really like this area. Now that I'm thinking of it, and I'm thinking back, I really like New Londo. I thought it was such a cool aesthetic. See, I'm into that though. I'm into that like Halloween spooky ghost vibe type shit. So it stuck out to me. Northern Undead Asylum is gonna go S tier. This is one of the best video game tutorials I've ever freaking played. It is such a great introduction, not only into the game itself, but the series as a whole. It lays everything out for you perfectly. The tone of the game, the combat, like it teaches you everything that it needs to teach you without being like overly egregious or in your face or having annoying pop-up screens. In fact, the entire tutorial is optional. If you don't want to read the messages and you just want to plow through it, which, you know, obviously if you're returning to the game, that's a good thing. You can just kind of plow through it, not have to worry about it. Then, I mean, you can do that. Not to mention the Stray Demon. Talk about a perfect tutorial boss. It's not too easy for your first time through, but it's also not the most challenging bullshit bash your head into a wall thing ever. It has a couple of moves, has like 2 or 3 moves, and you learn those, you learn the fundamentals of like dodging and blocking and stuff like that, and it's an incredible first boss. Alex Domain, see, every time I think of this place, I lump it in with Blighttown, but I gotta remember, it's technically a different area. I want to put it in A just because, like, Chaos, dude, she's bad as fuck. I feel like this is another one of those Dark Souls hurdles where it's like, it's not the hardest boss in the world, but you definitely need some skill to get through this one, or at least some knowledge of some kind to get through it. And then plus from here, once you ring the bell, it kind of launches you into, like, the next part of the game with, like, Sense Fortress and then Anor Londo and kind of just, like, gets you moving along. I'll leave it in A tier just because, you know, the only thing to this area is a boss fight, but what the boss fight is, it's fun, it can be challenging, and it's a good time. Sense Fortress is gonna go B. I don't really have any big feelings about it. The boss sucks ass. The area is cool to run through just because it kind of changes up the normal formula of just run from A to B, no challenges in between. Here, you know, you got the swinging spikes, you got the Barb Zuckerbergs all over the place, you know, all the weird lizard people. I don't know, I don't really think it's that bad of an area as everybody said. I mean, I didn't really even die that much when I was going through here. Sure, I got, you know, hit by the spikes in some bullshit type of way a couple of times, but wasn't nothing I couldn't deal with. It really wasn't that bad. However, this is the one and only boss fight I ever fought without even laying a finger on him. In fact, I have a video titled that. If you go back to my Dark Souls 1 playlist, my blind playthrough playlist, I have a video called I Beat a Dark Souls Boss Without Even Touching It. Dog, I just sat in the corner and my summon took care of it. Catacombs are gonna go B for me. They're alright. They're not the worst thing in the world. Definitely not as bad as Tomb of the Giants, which I'm gonna put in C right now. The Catacombs has Pinwheel. That boss fight is just fun to laugh at, unless you have a divine weapon. I wouldn't say this area would suck for you if you don't have a divine weapon, because I sure as shit didn't have one, and I just kind of sprinted through it. I didn't really have any problems. Aesthetically, it's an okay area. I think it's kind of cool. Yeah, I'll leave it in B. It's definitely not as bad as something as, like, Tomb of the Giants. Tomb of the Giants was, like, very, very underwhelming. Don't even get me started on the boss fight with Nito. That was just, dude, that was my most anticipated boss of the game. Ever since I saw the first cutscene and I saw Nito, I was like, oh my god, he looks like such a badass. I can't wait to fight him. And then you get there and it's just, The Duke's Archives are the Crystal Caves a part? Wait, did they not have the Crystal Caves on here? I don't remember ranking them. Well, we're gonna put the Crystal Caves in with Duke's Archives, and for that, I'm gonna put it in A. The Duke's Archives is a really cool location. This area doesn't have too many enemies, but it doesn't have too little. It's pretty fairly balanced. I think the aesthetic is pretty cool. Like, I don't know why. Being in, like, that giant, like, library-looking area, I think it was, like, I felt like the aesthetic was just kind of cool. And then, obviously, after this, you get to the Crystal Caves, and aesthetically, that is one of my favorite areas in the game, period. Then you get down to the fight with Seath, and again, all the 4 Great Lords in this game were pretty disappointing, if I'm gonna be honest, in their boss fights, but it was still okay. Undead Burg's gonna go S tier. It's the first main area of the game, basically, outside of the tutorial area. Taurus Demon is another great way for players to kind of get acquainted with the way that the bosses work in the game, the way that they move, kind of get used to, you know, dying like crazy. I was stuck on Taurus Demon for like 4 hours. That episode was insane. Nothing else really to be said about it. I mean, the dragon on the bridge still pisses me off to this day, though, so... You know, for the dragon, it's just for that, I kind of want to put it in A, but I mean, I kind of want to keep it in S. Like, it is a really good area. I really like the Taurus Demon fight. I just feel like that moment when he jumps on the bridge is just iconic. Undead Parish is going to go A tier for me. Wait a minute, now that I'm thinking of it, aren't the Bell Gargoyles technically at Undead? Yeah, they're, okay, you know what, we're going to flip these. Undead Burg is going to go to A tier, and Undead Parish is going to go to S tier. The Bell Gargoyles is one of my favorite, like, gang fights ever. Out of all the Souls boss fights I've done, like, when it comes to gang fights, the Bell Gargoyles was a great way to introduce the mechanic. Perfectly balanced, it can be broken with summons. It's just challenging enough without being BS, and obviously this is where you bring the first Bell of Awakening. This is honestly, like, one of the best boss fights in the game, if I'm being honest. That, and obviously the Blacksmith is here. And again, the whole area just, like, being inside of the church, I think aesthetically it looks cool. Even though the knights can be a little BS sometimes, or at least it feels like it with the way they can parry you. It's, you know... Still a good area. I really loved it. I think it deserves the S tier spot. Finally, the Valley of Drakes. I'm gonna put it in C just because there's nothing really going on here. There's like dragons. That's cool, but it wasn't really memorable. It was okay, I guess. Anyways, here you guys go. This is the tier list. Do you guys agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments your thoughts on this and if you would have ranked them any differently. Anyway, as always, a shout out to the patrons. Come to your grandma, Little Booty Tab, Big Daddy Matty, and Desperado. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully see you guys back here tomorrow at 7. Thank you for watching. I love you all. Stay beautiful and have an amazing day.